too risky. They only have so much grant funding and they need something to help move their work along. But like, if we have a model that can help de-risk some of the bigger, riskier ideas, that's going to move science faster. I think makes the science and those ideas both, can be sourced with AI as a tool, but really it's really about making the scientists less hesitant to explore big ideas.
Well, I mean, one thing that we haven't talked about is the EvolutionaryScale team and Alex Reeves and his team joining. And
let's talk about the announcement. Yeah.
Yes. I mean, this is like probably the most talented team working on AI and biology, right? And like at the intersection of like basically good biology background. And also, they've just been working on
ESM3.
Some of the top protein models for a long period of time. Yeah. I mean, I think if you want to build an organization that is doing frontier biology and frontier AI, you need to have like world-leading AI researchers. And we're doing that by basically combining the team that we have that's already put out, have the AI person basically be running the overall program, partnering with these leading biologists. I think gives a sense of how optimistic we are about the AI work being very fundamental to this. But we're very serious about building out like a leading lab on the AI side as well. That goes for both the talent and the compute. I think we were probably the first to build out a large-scale compute cluster for biological research. I think now there's some others who are doing it too, but we're also building on that. And, we
and unknown indicators of disease. And I actually find the variants of unknown significance to be the most interesting and the most frustrating. Say, someone that you love, it's sort of a diagnostic mystery. They need to go in and look at the genetics. Most likely they'll come back and be like, there are these 3 things that are not usual, but we also don't know why. And you're like, okay, like, should I model out what is the impact in the different cells, how it influences cellular behavior, and whether or not that is tied to a pathway to disease or not? Like, that's a big deal. And I think we should be doing that. That is actually the future of medicine, where we think about each one of your biology based on your genetics, your exposure, and how it predisposes you or not to disease. Like, that's huge. And we want to be able to see that clinical application, but we can't. It's too expensive, too hard to model each person, impossible to model each person in the lab. But if we can build models around this, it is possible. And then we can start thinking with extreme precision. And I'm not just talking about rare disease. Like, they're like common diseases. I'll just say depression. Right now, it's empirical, right? We just say, like, you're depressed. Like, here, let's try this antidepressant. And it's like usually the one that the doctor's more familiar with, or maybe one that you've heard of. But like, and then you have to try it for months before it's like, did it work? Did it not work?
See how far we can get. But I mean, I'm pretty optimistic that we'll be able to make a bunch of progress. And yeah, I mean, there's like, what format does this take technologically? I would imagine you're taking these different types of virtual cell models and eventually merging them into the equivalent of like a biological omni model, kind of like how on the language model side, you had people that did language, and then you aim to get positive transfer by merging it. So that way it's not just combining capabilities, but getting everything else to be stronger. So yeah, I mean, technologically, I think that's basically what it looks like is, over whatever it is, a 5 or 10 year period, we're building up a series of Biohub models that like increasingly get all these different dimensions of data and capabilities that can be used to help run individual science experiments and potentially eventually help with finding individual therapies for patients. Although we're going to be less on the clinical side. We're going to be more on the kind of scientific tool development side. And the kind of main tool, if you will, is this like these Biohub virtual cells.
Kind of get clever and you sort of figure out a hack to learn something new, to really making it closer to an engineering problem of like, this is how the system works. And when this breaks, what happens to the rest of the system? But like you said, there's like AI is really, really good at detecting lesions in your skin that are concerning. It's excellent. Retinal issues, it is excellent. So the AI modeling and mapping is really, really good. So it's already happening. So I think about like, what should future doctors be trained to do? And I really think care and compassion and sort of walking patients through understanding, I think understanding why leads to trust in both the science and in the clinical pathway. And really walking alongside patients on that journey is, it was the original calling